watch Why Not Play Volleyball.
Hey, Ella, we are on 1-8. This is the last section of the chapter. Here we go. There's the problems if you need to pause. Here is first thing. Operations on functions. They will give you two functions and they will say f plus g of x. That just means f of x plus g of x. That's it. Right? You're just taking the functions and adding them together. This guy is f minus g. Sometimes they'll write it together like that, but that just means you're taking the two functions and subtracting them. Multiply is this guy. Divide is this guy. Yeah? Now, we will, here in a bit, take note. F times G. Look at this little circle right here. It is a closed circle. We will eventually be doing F composed of G, which is an open circle, and G composed of F. Those mean something different than this one. This one means multiply.
That means like F
So, yes, this one is a composition. This is like shoving functions inside of each other, which we'll get to here in just a bit. But this means multiply, yeah? Okay, so here's what we've got. Adding two functions together. They want us to add. They want us to take f plus g. F is this square root function. G is this guy right here. So when we add them together, we've got this, 25 minus x squared plus 5. Now what do we do? Nothing. We can't put them together. One's outside of the square root, one's inside, so there's nothing we can do. Done. You combine like terms if you can, but the 5 can't go underneath of the square root, so that's it.
Why do you not re-simplify that?
What do you mean?
The square root of 25 is 5 and...
Nope, these are trapped together.
Oh, then you have to do the square root for it.
Nope, there's nothing you can do. You can't even take the square root of that thing. He just stays like that. Okay, that's it. All right, now we got to do a little bit more. We have three functions. They have m and n and p, and they want us to determine the function values if possible. Okay, so they want us to find m minus n, but then they want us to plug in a -2, right? Instead of m minus n, they would like do this. They would do m minus n of x, right? They want us to write out what m minus n looks like and then plug a -2 in first, okay? So m is here for x minus n, which is the absolute value of x minus 3. You cannot distribute this negative through.
Those absolute values.
You can't do it over top of absolute values. So this is what m minus n looks like. We're now just going to plug a -2 in. So -2 goes here, boop, and -2 goes here. Okay? So 4 times -2, I can do that together. That's -8 minus the absolute value of, what's this become? -5. The absolute value of -5 is positive 5, right? So this is 5. But then it's -5. So the final answer is? -13. That's it. Okay? Yeah? Okay? M times P. M is 4x times P is 1 over x plus 1. Now you can, if you want to, put that together, right? This is like over 1. So I could simplify this as 4x over x plus 1 if you want to. I can totally combine those two. But I am plugging in 1. I'm plugging 1 in there, 1 in there. 4 times 1 on the top is 4 over 2, which is 2. Yep. Okay? If they just say m times p of x, you're going to leave it as 4x over x plus 1. But since we're plugging a number in, you get a number out. Got it? Okay. Now, p divided by n. P is on the top, 1 over x plus 1, divided by, and I always make that divided by a little bit bigger, x minus 3. Okay, there's what he looks like. That's an absolute value on the bottom. We're plugging 3 in, right? 3 and 3. Oh, boy. On the top, we have 1 over 4, all over the absolute value of 3 minus 3, which is the absolute value of 0, which is 0. 1/4 divided by 0 is how much?
Zero. Undefined.
Undefined. Undefined. 0 on the top is 0. 0 on the bottom is undefined. Yeah? So that one does not have a value. That's why it says find the function values if possible. This one's not possible. So you have no solutions. 0 on the bottom is bad. Capiche? Okay. Next. This is where it gets really gross. Kinda. It says find this and write the domain. It's a little bit hairy. I'm going to do A down here. So we want to subtract G minus H. G is this guy. I'll do G minus H. G minus H. G is 2x. H is x squared minus 4x. Now I put H in parentheses because we have to distribute the negative through. Right? Okay, distribute the negative through. So I've got 2x minus x squared plus 4x. Okay, let's combine like terms and write them in order. What do you got? I'm gonna go negative x squared first,
Okay.
plus 6x. Doesn't matter. If you do it the other way, then it's not wrong. Okay. Now, here's the question. They ask us to simplify, right? They said, write that, find g minus h of x, right? We're not plugging a number in, so we just get that as an answer. And write the domain. Okay? The things that screw up the domain, right, are, I call them domain errors. And they are a negative inside of a square root, and number 2, dividing by 0. This guy doesn't have any of that, right? In fact, what does he look like? A negative x squared.
A parabola.
He's a parabola. He's a downwards parabola. Will he touch everything left and right?
Yeah.
Yes. He doesn't have any domain errors, so he has no problems. So if we write it in interval notation, what's his domain? Negative infinity to positive infinity, okay? Yeah. I don't know. They want it in terms of in interval notation. Okay, so that's part A. Part B, we are taking g times k. There's a k. What? Okay, g is 2x times the square root of x minus 1. Can I put that 2x inside of there? No. So if you want to, you can get rid of this dot. So you could write it as just 2x square roots of x minus 1, right? That is what he looks like, and now we have to find the domain. Now, do we have something that's going to screw up my domain? Yes. We don't want the inside of that square root to be negative, right? Okay. So if you don't want to have to think about it, I set x minus 1 equal to 0, which means x equals 1. That's my critical number on my number line, right? And then I've got to figure out, like, over here I could plug 0 in, over here I could plug 2 in. If I plug 0 in, is that going to be good or bad? Bad. If I plug 2 in, that's going to be okay, right? So this can happen. If I plug 1 in exactly,
It'll be fine.
it'll be fine. 1 minus 1 is 0, and the square root of 0 is fine. So what's the domain? In interval notation, I can plug in 1 to infinity, and he's a bracket because I can plug 1 in. That was really super fast. Was that too fast? Was that okay? That makes sense, right? Okay, that's B. C, they're having us divide. K divided by H, okay? What? Oh my gosh. K is the square root of, let me just write out. K divided by H. All right, K is the square root of x minus 1. And H, oh my Lord, H is x squared minus 4x. Yeah, I can't do math. All right, here we go.
Should we get rid of it?
Holy moly.
Can we get rid of the square root?
No,
Just leave it?
this one's super awful. Can I simplify first and foremost? I don't think so. That's it, right? Okay. So now we have to decide from here the domain, right? So let's talk domain. I'm going to put this on a number line. We already said from the top that x, if I plug in 1, if I plug in 0, right? Like 0 right here, if I plug in 2, right? We just said that this cannot happen, right? We said that 1 could happen and anything bigger than 1 is okay, right? According to the square root of x minus 1. Now, if I look at the bottom, we want to make sure that that bottom is not 0, true? So if I say x squared minus 4x can't be 0, what do we do now?
Solve for 0. Solve for x.
Solve for x. Okay, how?
Divide -4.
Do math.
Do math.
X squared minus 4x. What can we do with that?
Can we?
You can put that on the
Can we
other
break it
side
down
and
X
put the
equals
square root of
plus
it and yada yada.
Let's pull an x out, right? Okay, so here x is equal to 0 and here x is equal to 4, right?
But he can't be 0.
But that means x can't be 0 and x can't be 4, right? Okay, we already knew that x couldn't be 0 over here, right? But they're saying that, hold up, we have a problem over here when x is 4. X can't be 4, right? Okay, so how does this look in interval notation then?
Oh, you have to do the union type thing.
Yeah. So we have this group can be true, and then anything bigger than 4 can be true, right? But 4 exactly can't be true. So what does that look like?
So, parentheses, so bracket 1.
1 to 4 is legal, but paren there, right? Union with anything from 4 to infinity. This can be my domain. That was really sticky. That was really gross.
Anything on the homework?
I don't know. Now, that was really tricky because it had both domain errors, right? Both things happening, so I had to check them out. I put them on a number line and say, like, what can x be and what can't be, right? Good? Yeah, that was kind of icky. Okay, moving on. Oh, guys. Hey, my calculus kids. Check it out. Does this guy look familiar? The limit as h approaches 0 of this thing. They're just having you do this thing right here. They just want you to do f of x plus h minus f of x over h.
No.
They just want you to do that. Hey, we've already done that. All
Get
right.
me out of calculus.
Okay. So find the difference quotient. They're baby stepping us into this. They're saying if here is my function, you tell me what f of x plus h is. What does that even mean? What do they want us to do? They take x plus h, yep, and they plug it in where x is. Okay, so now I have 3 times x plus h is going in that spot minus 5, right? And then we simplify. So what can we do? 3x plus 3h minus 5. Anything else? No. That is all. That is f of x plus h. They're just saying find it when you plug x plus h in. That is part A. But part B is a little bit ickier than that. They say find the entire difference quotient, okay? Which is f of x plus h minus f of x. I'm just rewriting it, so if you don't want to have to rewrite it, that's fine, okay? Find all of that thing. Yeah? And my function is 3x minus 5. 3x minus 5. Okay, so here we go. We already found f of x plus h. We already did this guy right here. That is 3x plus 3h minus 5. That's what this part is, right? But then they want minus f of x. What is f of x?
Negative 3x minus 3.
F of x is 3x minus 5. So 3x minus 5, like this. Okay? Yeah? You can. If you want to, that's fine. Yep. I'm doing it in baby steps. All over h. Yeah?
Oh, so you just
Okay, so we have 3x
cancel.
plus 3h minus 5 minus 3x
Can we just
plus 5. Okay?
cancel?
Ready? 3x's cancel,
5's cancel.
5's cancel. So I have 3h over h, which is 3. What did we just find? My calculus kids.
Derivative.
Oh, look! Isn't the derivative of 3x minus 5 equal to 3?
We could have just power rolled that and been done like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now, if you're not in calculus, you don't know that, that's totally fine. But that's what that stands for, right?
I'm doing math.
Yeah. That's the limit formula for finding a derivative.
Yeah, what if I'm in
You should have
calculus?
started
Kevin
with
is
the
right.
power roll, and then it wouldn't have been so.
Yeah, I know, but then you wouldn't appreciate, maybe you still don't appreciate that formula. Okay, that's the difference quotient. Now, okay, are you ready for example 5?
Power rule.
Okay, here we go. No. This guy, but you're not going to get the same answer. I'll show you why. Okay, hold on. So this is my function.
Not on that one.
Find f of x plus h. So I'm going to plug it in there, and I'm going to plug it in there. Yeah? Okay. Oh my. I'm going to write out what he looks like. Negative 2, parentheses, x plus h squared plus 4 times x plus h minus 1. And now we got to simplify. So we got 3 pieces, right? We got like this piece, right? Okay. So we got to square the x plus h. So I'm going to do it over here. I'd like do like a little side work right here. And x plus h times x plus h, I got x squared plus xh plus another xh plus h squared. Yeah? Or in other words, that's x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Do we see how that works? That's what that squared is. But now I have to also
Back the negative 2 now.
multiply him by a negative 2 because that negative 2 is right here. Right? So I have negative 2x squared minus
4.
4xh minus 2h squared. Clear as mud? Okay, now this guy right here, 4 times x plus h is plus 4x plus 4h,
Minus 1.
and then we got minus 1 on the end. Do you see what we just did? We squared the x plus h, we distributed the negative 2 through. Now let's see if we can simplify anything. Can we put anything? We can't even put anything together? You're kidding me. So that's that whole thing. Whoa. All right, find the difference quotient. That's this guy right here.
Negative 4x.
Okay,
plus
so I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go down over here, right? This is my f of x plus h, right? That's this part right here. Boom. Minus f of x, okay? All over h. Yeah? Okay, minus f of x. What is f of x? What goes in this blank right here? What is f of x?
I don't know. I just used the power.
F of x is equal to this guy.
Product rule?
Negative 2.
negative 2x squared
Oh.
plus 4x minus 1. That's what f of x is, right? Okay.
Well, it's kind of.
Okay. So on the top, we have negative 2x squared minus 4xh minus 2h squared plus 4x plus 4h minus 1. And then I'm going to distribute my negative through. So plus 2x squared minus 4x plus 1 all over h. If you do the power rule, you're not going to get the right answer.
It's not the same thing.
And I'll show you why. This guy cancels with this guy, right?
The 4x.
The 4x's cancel and the 1's cancel. Doop, doop. Okay, so here we go. This is what I got. I've got negative 4xh minus 2h squared plus 4h all over h.
4H.
You got a 4h.
Yeah, take out the H.
Take out the h on the top. So if I pull an h out on the top, I've got negative 4x minus 2h plus 4 all over h. Yeah, I pulled an h out.
Okay, just add an
The
H
two
to
h's
end.
cancel, right? So I've got negative 4x minus 2h plus 4. That's my derivative. That's my quotient, difference quotient, okay? Now, that is not the derivative of this guy right here. Because what goes on the front of this difference quotient? Nope. When we're finding the derivative. The limit as h approaches 0. So now, if I plug 0 in for h, don't write this down. If I plug 0 in for h, I get negative 4x. This middle piece goes away, plus 4. Is that the derivative of this guy right here? Yeah. So they're having you, for trig, they're having you do just the difference quotient and not actually like plugging in the 0 for h, but that's the difference between trig and calculus. We would actually do the limit by plugging 0 in for h, and we would get the derivative, basically. The difference quotient is going to have the h in there. Got it? Yeah?
So sometimes it's the same.
What?
Sometimes it's the same if the h cancels out.
Because we started with a linear function up
And
here.
you can't figure out the.
This one was a linear function, so the h is going to cancel out no matter what anyway. And then when you plug 0 in for h, it's going to be gone,
Oh, so
right?
if it's linear, just do the derivative.
If it's linear, you can just do the derivative. But I bet you have one on there that's not that way.
Oh, I bet.
Woo! Okay, let's do a couple more and then we'll maybe stop.
These are composition.
Composition functions. Composition, all right. Their little circle is a little bit smaller than my little circle, but notice that like this guy right here, like I write it big, F composed of G. Like you can tell that that's a fog, right? Okay, but that is different than this, right? That is multiply. This is composed. Okay, so when it says compose, what? When it says compose, it matters what order it goes in. All right, they wrote it right here, but I'm gonna write it bigger here. F composed of G is the same thing as F parentheses G of X. Okay, that's what he looks like. In other words, that means the G of X goes inside the F of X, right? If they write it as G composed of F, it is G parentheses and the F of X goes inside the G of X. So the F goes into the G. It depends on what is inside and what is outside. Okay, I'm going to show you what that means here in just a second. Whoop. Okay.
This is funny.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do something real quick. They are wanting on A, B, C, D, and E, or A, B, C, and D, they want us to plug numbers in. I'm going to do one thing really quick, and I'm going to just do F composed of G of X. F composed of G of X. I'm going to do that before we do part A. So, what do they do? What do you do when you're not plugging a number in? What do you do when you're plugging an X in? Okay, so what this means is we're taking G and we're plugging it into F. So this guy goes into F where? The X's. Since there's two of them, they go in both places, right? Blah. So instead of x squared plus 2x, x minus 4's go in those spots, right? X minus 4 and x minus 4.
Just a thought.
Gross.
Just a thought.
Just wait.
No.
Just wait.
No.
Just wait.
No.
So F composed of G. If we simplify, do you know what x minus 4 squared is?
Why are you simplifying?
2.
Why can't we
X squared minus 8x plus 16. If I distribute that through, that's plus 2x minus 8. Then if I simplify the whole thing, that's x squared minus 6x plus 8.
Question.
That's what f composed of g is. Hold on. Let me answer my phone.
Which bear is that?
She's doing this very dumb.
Oh.
Very dumb.
Why wouldn't you figure out that 6 minus 4 equals 2 and then plug that in for the x's?
Dylan, why would you even make sense like that? Like, what do you even?
She's doing it this way so that we can use this formula for A through D.
Alright, Mike.
And just plug 5 in. Which child is
I've got a
sick?
kid sick down in Gina's office. Alright, let's get done with this quick.
Which
'Kay.
child is sick?
Malia. Layla's already at home. Alright.
Your kids are sick so good. I'm going home.
No.
Your kids are sick all the time.
Okay, what was your question?
Why don't you just you see the 6, go to A.
No. I know. That's what we're gonna do. So, no. Just wait.
But they're different.
This is what you get when you do f composed of g of x, right? You have to plug the whole g into f. This is how you do it, and that's how you simplify, right? Okay, let's say you were doing g composed of f of x, right? I'm showing this for Addison and some of the others who maybe don't remember this because they aren't. We've already done this in calculus. Like this is like review, so I'm going really fast, but I'm trying to like make sure I hit all my bases here. G composed of f of x is a little bit easier though, because here I'm plugging f into g. So I'm taking this guy and I'm plugging it into here. And this is a lot shorter, right? Because instead of x minus 4, I plug the x squared minus 2x in there, right? And then I simplify that, and that's just x squared minus 2x minus 4, and I can do it that way. Okay?
Wait.
Yeah?
I said mine. It's plus.
No, it should be mine. Oh, I'm sorry, plus 2x. I forgot. Right there, plus. Yep, you're right. X squared plus 2x minus 4. That's what g composed of f is. So f composed of g, g composed of f. There are two different things, right? Okay? Now, here's the deal. If you're doing this, f composed of g, you can certainly plug 6 into, and you would plug 6 into this top one. And you would get an answer, right? Now, Dilly does not want to do it that way. And there is an easier way, because if you're just plugging numbers in, you don't have to do like the composition part, right? Okay, here's what you have to do. F composed of g of 6. We're going to start from the inside and we're going to figure out what g of 6 is, right? Here's an easier way of doing this. G of 6 means I plugged 6 in for g. If I plug 6 in for g, this is 6 minus 4, which is 2, okay? So g of 6, this part right here is actually 2. So now I want to plug that 2 into f, right? G of 6 is 2. I'm going to plug 2 in for f, and 2 in for f is 2 squared plus 2 times 2, which is 8. Final answer is 8. Okay? So when you have numbers, you can plug it into the inside, then plug it into the outside. It would be the same as plugging it into here, right? Okay, but it's a little bit faster. This one, we want to plug negative 3 into f first, right? So negative 3 squared plus 2 times negative 3. This would be 9 minus 6. So f of 3 is 3. Now I'm going to find g of 3, right? I plugged it into f, and now I'm going to plug that number into g. So g of 3 is 3 minus 4, so final answer is negative 1. Okay? F composed of g of 0. Where are you going to plug the 0 in first? To the g. So I'm going to find g of 0. If I find g of 0, that's 0 minus 4. So that is negative 4. And I need to find f of negative 4. Yeah? So f of negative 4 will be negative 4 squared plus 2 times negative 4. And that is 16 plus a negative 8, which is 8. Yeah? Okay?
So why didn't
Because on your homework assignment, they're going to ask for f of g of x and not just f of g of a number, right? If they're just asking for f of g of a number, I would plug the numbers in. But if they ask for f of g of x, then you got to plug the whole thing in. So I want to make sure I did that. Yeah? Okay? All right, g composed of f of 5. I need to find f of 5 first. So I'm going to plug 5 in. 5 squared minus, what was it? 2, or plus 2 times 5. Okay, that's 25 plus 10. So that is 30. Now I'm going to take 35. Now I'm going to take 35 and plug it into g. G of 35 is 35 minus 4. So 31 is the final answer. Okay, clear as mud. Addison, was that hugely fast? No? It was okay? All right, let's stop there. Okay? Whoop. You should be able to get through, I don't know, almost some of them.
34?
I don't know. Let me see. Because we didn't get all the way through compose and decompose functions. I don't know where we're at here.
Well, now you're just.
Homework 148.
Oh, think you're cool and come to us now?
148.
Yo, buddy.
Compose
Rip
and
my
decompose
paper.
functions I did. You should be able to do, I don't know,
67.
up through
Ha ha, Zach.
58.
Very funny.
Let's go up through 58. Right here.
6, 7's dead.
Stop right here.
Yeah, it's on its way out.
Perfect. Yes. Funny story. I'll
You'll still have
record
like
the. I'll
6
stop
to
the
7
video.
days of it though.
What?
You'll still have like 6 to 7 days before it dies.
Okay, are we done?
I already forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye, Ella.